Passion, drama and miracles are usually present in a Premier League season. In the Prem, entertainment doesn't only come from the top teams, the bottom teams make it even more competitive. How many of these great relegation escapes do you remember? Subscribe to the Football Library for more videos like this. 1. West Brom 2004-2005 Final Day Miracle. After a horrible start to the 2004-2005 season, West Brom sacked Gary Megson and hired Brian Robson. West Brom didn't enjoy a new manager bounce as they went on an 11-match winless run. By Christmas Day, they were the last in the Premier League table, and the thrashing they received from Birmingham City and Liverpool killed all forms of hope. Slowly, they improved, and by April, the Baggies looked pretty solid. Then, they lost all their progress as they went on another winless run, which lasted until the final match of the season. West Brom fans knew it. They were done. They needed a miracle to survive, or they would be among the casualties of Survival Sunday, as Sky Sports described that final match day. West Brom had to beat Portsmouth and hope Southampton, Crystal Palace and Norwich City all lost. West Brom won, and not just that, Southampton, Crystal Palace and Norwich City all lost. It was a miracle. They became the first team to be at the bottom of the league by Christmas and not get relegated. Two others who did this are next. 2. Leicester 2014-15 Gory to Glory. Fans easily remember the miracle of Leicester City winning the Premier League in the 2015-16 season under Claudio Ranieri. They forget that without Nigel Pearson leading his men through a demanding spell in the 2014-15 season, that Premier League miracle wouldn't have happened. After winning the Championship and returning to the Prem after 10 years, Leicester were off to an impressive start. They held Everton and Arsenal to a draw and completed a comeback thrashing of Man U. Unfortunately for them, they lost momentum and played 13 matches without a win. They did eventually win some games here and there, but Leicester looked poised to return to the Championship. They sat firmly at the bottom of the Premier League table from November to mid-April. It was time to work. Leicester's hope returned after they beat West Ham 2-1 and ended their 8-match winless run. Then Leicester became the source of Premier League excitement. They beat West Brom 3-2 with Vardy scoring in the last minutes of the game. Leicester were reborn and they won 5 out of their last 7 matches. In their revival, they earned 22 points and are the only team to do that in their final 9 matches of the season. After that season, Leicester sacked Pearson and hired Ranieri, and the rest is history. 3. Sunderland 2013-14 Big Sam Heroics. Sunderland had an atrocious start to the 2013-14 season with 1 point from 8 games. That disastrous run saw Sunderland part ways with manager and Premier League great Paolo Di Canio, with Gus Poyet eventually becoming the team's coach. But with Poyet, it was more of the same. It seemed Poyet had managed to stabilise the team, as they managed to lose just 1 in 9 matches and found themselves in 14th position. It looked like Poyet had done it if they could just pick up a couple more results. In their next matches, however, Sunderland lost 8, and they were favourites to go down. With 6 matches to go, Sunderland were bottom of the league, 7 points from safety off the bat of a 5-1 hammering from Spurs, and with matches against Manchester City, Chelsea and Man United to come, Sunderland's top-flight journey was all but over. Sunderland drew against Man City 2-2, then hustled a win against Chelsea 2-1, and then beat United 1-0 in just under 2 weeks before destroying Cardiff City 4-0. They followed up their winning streak with another victory at West Brom, which made them 5 points away from the drop. They lost to Swansea on the final match day, but by that time they had done enough. Firmly bottom on Christmas Day, Sunderland also spent more days in the relegation zone than out of it. They were only out of the relegation zone for 42 days and they spent 226 days in it. Sunderland weren't done with relegation scraps, however. They would get into another relegation battle in the 2015-16 season. They also started that season poorly, and it cost their coach Dick Advocaat his job. The club went on to hire Sam Allardyce, and the veteran escapologist looked out of his depths. Allardyce lost 8 of his first 11 games. By mid-season, his team were 19th. They picked up form, but couldn't be consistent. Then, in their last matches, they were unbeaten for 5 games. It all came down on the last day, and all they needed was a draw against Watford. And they got the draw and survived again. Oldham Athletic 1992-93 against all odds. This was the Premier League's inaugural season and it packed a lot of drama. Oldham Athletic provided an incredible amount of entertainment in the latter stages of the season. They were spending their second season in top-flight football. With 2 matches to go, Oldham were in a relegation battle with Crystal Palace, Ipswich Town and Sheffield United. After a disastrous start to the season, Oldham managed to pick things up in March, but their improved form couldn't guarantee them safety. They needed to win their last 3 matches if they were going to get a chance to survive. They had matches against an 8th place Liverpool, 16th place Southampton and title-chasing Aston Villa. It was supposed to be a bloodbath for Oldham, but they somehow managed to win all of their last 3 matches, with their final match being a 4-3 thriller against Southampton. Their relegation battling rival Crystal Palace lost their last match and were relegated despite racking up 49 points. Oldham managed to snatch survival only on goal difference. Aston Villa 2019-20. Terrible technology. Villa's return to the Premier League sparked immense investment by the club. They filled positions that needed quality players, but success didn't come as the team struggled to string consecutive wins together. They won only one of their first 7. Villa began to rack up wins, beating Palace and Arsenal. However, things were still tense, and it would be only on the final match day that Villa fans would know the fate of their club. They drew West Ham and led their relegation rivals by a single point, with Grealish scoring the goal that kept Villa up. They survived and sparked controversy in doing so. Aston Villa should have been relegated. In their match against Sheffield United, Sheffield scored and their goal wasn't given, and yes, goal line technology was around but failed to pick it all up, as all 7 cameras focused on the goal line were occluded, for which Hawkeye apologised. Now, I don't think Bournemouth fans accepted that apology, as they would have been the team that survived. But then again, what's the Prem without controversies? West Ham 2006-2007 from Argentina with love. West Ham are used to intense relegation battles. It consumed them in the 2002-2003 season, but in the 2006-2007 season, they refused to go down. They signed Argentinians Carlos Tevez and Javier Mascherano in the 2006 to help them compete. Now, the two fell below expectations, and by January, Mascherano left for Liverpool after failing to make an impact. West Ham would survive the fall with Tevez scoring 10 goals in 10 appearances. Unfortunately for West Ham, they were in other trouble. They ran the risk of point deduction as they breached PL rules with how they signed Tevez and Mascherano. The team settled the matter out of court for an undisclosed sum and remained in the league. The Premier League is full of excitement. The battle for survival is equally as interesting as the title charge. You've seen Oldham's miracle and the Aston Villa controversy. Which relegation survival do you think is the most iconic? Subscribe to the Football Library for more content.